What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. I don't know why I got to touch things when I first do my intro before I do them, but I do them. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm going to talk about a story that happened on November 15th, and it's a domestic violence, it's a domestic abuse case. And it involves a police officer out of New Mexico. This guy right here is Jeremy Navarez, age unknown. I can't find his age anywhere. He was a member of the Bellaire Police Department out there in New Mexico. On November 15th, Rio Rancho Police Department responded to a domestic call that the neighbor made about people having a problem in the house next door. The police roll up. Mr. Jeremy Navarez, pictured here, the cop, was in there with his girlfriend. I want to show you this video, and it's two stories in one because it talks about something else he was in trouble for a couple months before. He was already in hot water. A couple months before this happened. And both of these stories are incredible. And I want to show them to you, and we'll come back and talk about them like we usually do. Take a look at this stuff.
A police officer at the center of an intense traffic stop over a family pet finds himself on the other side of the law. KRQE investigative reporter Gabrielle Burkhardt obtained police video from the latest case that landed the now former officer in even more hot water.
Police Department. Hello.
Rio Rancho police video from November 15th shows officers responding to a home after a neighbor called police.
What's going on?
You just have a... Just a domestic leave, I guess. I've asked him to leave. I've asked him to let go of me, and he wouldn't leave.
The woman, who we're not identifying, tells officers she and her boyfriend, Jeremy Navarez, were arguing when he got physical and refused to leave her house.
During that moment when he was holding you, did you feel that you were not free to leave?
Correct, yes. I cannot leave. He is stronger than me. I could not leave.
Okay. We're going to go try and talk with him. The supervisor's on the way just because he is a police officer.
Navarez was an officer with Bernalillo Police in the town of Bernalillo. He was also the officer at the center of a KRQE investigation from September.
Stay away from me!
Police lapel video from that stop shows Navarez pulling over a family for speeding and holding them at gunpoint.
My dog's about to die!
The family's dog had been hit by a car, and they were rushing to get her to an emergency vet.
Sir, my dog's bleeding out of mouth! Okay.
Their dog didn't make it. The Albrecht family couldn't believe how Navarez treated them.
No one came at him, no one threatened him, and again, like, what did he see that scared him so bad? I mean, this guy was angry.
Months after that traffic stop, Navarez admits to the Rio Rancho officers now questioning him that things were tense between he and the woman.
Tried hugging her, that didn't pan out. She said that it hurt her back, I let her go.
But the woman claims he wouldn't at first and insists Navarez wouldn't leave.
Okay, so on those both occasions she told you no. So why would you continue to try and hold her?
Yeah, just trying to, I guess, just make it work at some point.
Okay. Is that a camera?
That's when an officer notices a Ring doorbell camera in the living room and asks to see the footage.
Hands off of me. Now, get your hands off of me. I said get your hands off.
The motion-sensing surveillance camera only captures a portion of the struggle, but the video, along with interviews officers conduct on scene, are enough in the end for Rio Rancho police to place Navarez under arrest for misdemeanor battery. Court records show the day after his arrest, the woman filed a restraining order against Navarez, saying he's, quote, threatening, and notes he has access to firearms. After our investigation into the traffic stop handled by Navarez, administrators with Bernalillo Police and the town of Bernalillo wouldn't tell us if he was facing any discipline at the time, only that he was placed on administrative leave after the battery arrest. Then just last week, the town clerk confirmed Navarez was fired by BPD in December. We tried to reach Navarez and his attorney for his side of the story, but have not heard back. Gabrielle Burkhart, KRQE Investigates.
All right, guys, the first thing that came to my mind when I watched that whole video, the whole thing, first thing that popped in my head was this. Just because you're an officer of the law and you out here trying to uphold the law, it does not mean you're a lawful person in character and spirit. This guy right here, I think, is a emotionally broken dude. He is. I'm going to talk about this first thing, the first incident he got in trouble with this guy he pulled over. The story goes, I read it in the article. Story goes, the guy's dog got hit by a car. Him and his son get in the car and rush the dog to the hospital. They're right down the road from the vet, speeding on the main highway, trying to get there as fast as he can. Officer Navarez gets behind him, calls it in. They're speeding. The guy sees him and pulls over. The guy jumps out the car. He draws the weapon on him. He runs up on him. You've seen in the video, hey, help, I need help. My dog is bleeding, this and that. He tells the guy, I don't give a F. The guy's like, okay. The dog winds up losing his life. That's kind of rough, especially with him saying he don't give a F. Now, there were other officers on the scene, and this is the part that I don't know if you guys ever thought about this. Sometimes they seem like when cops are doing their protocol, when they're trying to do an arrest and all this other stuff, and they're supposed to be cautious, they're like the Three Stooges, or more. Cops are act like it's like nobody has common sense at the scene. Hey, what's going on? The guy was screaming, my dog got hit. It's bleeding from the mouth. The other guy could hear him unless they was too busy trying to yell out instructions to him. And the thing that's crazy is when you look, the body cam showed the dog was having shortness of breath. That's an emergency. That's their pet. It's like a member of their family for some people. Why couldn't one officer say, hey, look, he's right. Get him in the car. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, he was speeding, but I mean, that's a misdemeanor. It's not like he did a major thing where and they just, they would go with him. They could escort him. They used to do that back in the day. Remember people were speeding, had babies? It seemed like for some reason, the basic needs of humanity have been pulled away from law enforcement out of fear or wanting to express control with people. Now, granted, I can't be no cop. I can't. I don't have a tolerance for BS and stupid stuff. But I mean, not all cases like that. And it's a hard job to do. Let's get that out there. But this guy was totally out of line. That dog lost his life. Might have still lost his life, but the way he did that, when someone or something, I don't want to say something. Well, yeah, something is hurt and you care about it. You want to fix it as soon as possible. That was just enough emergency for a human being as it was for that animal. Animal lost his life because they was held up, not saying it has anything to do with it or not, but precious time and seconds was ticking and he was exerting his power, being the a-hole. That's just how I see. Now let's get to this second part, because he was already in trouble with that. This second part, like I told y'all, a lot of emotionally detached, broken dudes are like children with women. A lot of them think what they think. They think, you ever see that? Like, perfect example is like on Baby Boy. He would get in trouble. He tried to put the pipe on the chick, thinking it's going to make everything right. Sex don't fix nothing. What did this guy do? He reminds me of that. That's the reason why I brought that up. He reminds me of that. A lot of times, abusive dudes, they start off doing weird stuff. It's always about control. I've seen this before, from people I ain't never seen. Like, the girl want to leave. The guy start hugging her. He start hugging all on her. Won't let her go. Not saying nothing, but he won't let her go. It's like an exert of power. Like he's squeezing on her and all of this stuff. So he's trying to get it to where she'll stop. And then once she stopped, he could sit her down and try to calm her down. And then maybe, everything can go back to normal. A lot of times you see that type of behavior when somebody's at somebody else's residence or somebody's place. I've seen it. I've seen it in this apartment before. Young couple, she trying to leave. She got her bags packed. She trying to leave because he won't leave her house. She don't want to call the cops. She going to the car. Here he come dumb as hell. Young kid. He hugging on her and holding her and trying to pull her back to the house. What kind of shit is that? That's man boy behavior. It is. And it's very off-putting. This guy is in her house. She's like, hey, leave. He won't leave. Guys are like that. Make me. A pain in the ass like children. A lot of women do that too. What do he do? Grabs her. She gave him distinct, and I want y'all to hear me, distinct instructions. Get off me. Get your hand. You see how she broke it down? Get your hands off me. Let me go. They used to have a slogan back in the day that said, where they said no means no. How soon we forget that lesson? Seriously, how soon we forget that lesson? He not saying nothing. He hugging on her like the dumbass that he is. Now looking at his pictures, I think he's a young dude, probably in his late 20s. But either way, he knows better. He should know better. You know what I'm saying? It took some work to get the girl. Now you get the girl, you can't keep it. You can't keep them. And there's a lot of stuff like that going on out here. It's funny how you can tell total strangers when you got a gun in their face or a taser pointed at them, lawful commands, and get mad because they don't listen to you, but you can't take one yourself. And that's why I have no respect for this dude. Then when the cops come, she outside, she embarrassed, she trying not to cry. Think about that. Like a lot of people don't think about this. Imagine the cops showing up, she opened the door, they there. She didn't call them. Now she got to explain herself. What happened? Oh, we had, now she breaking down because she embarrassed. Embarrassed. See, when the guy is abuser and he's doing this type of stuff to the woman, a lot of times it's nothing to him because that's what's in him. And he think he doing the right thing by trying to control her when he don't have to control her. A simple conversation to do. We're men. We deal with conflict resolution. It's a conflict, resolve it. She gave you the easy out, leave, and you would have never been in that position. For some reason, some people are hard-headed and they're going to stand their ground in some shit that ain't theirs. That ain't your house. Get the fuck out. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I think a lot of these cops out here, you know, with what they see and can't unsee and stuff, they need to be going to mandatory psychological checkups. They do. They come in the house, he's sitting there like he a Vietnam vet high off the whiskey, like he about to end his life. He's standing there looking dumb as hell, pondering. What? You the one that was wrong. What happened? You got into a little... Now you, the cop, you as a cop is on the opposite end of when the cops come. Now you there, you the perp looking stupid. Is that a camera over there? Yeah, put the camera on. Now you look stupid. She gave you distinct instructions to leave. Why didn't you go? I tried to hug her, but it didn't work out well. You ain't gonna sit there and lie. Yeah, you hugged her, but you was being forceful and pulling her, pushing her up against the thing. And that's how it starts a lot of times with these dudes. They'll hug on these girls. These girls will panic and start trying to get off from them stuff. And then they'll squeeze them tight. And then they'll get to yelling at them, stop. You better, you know what I mean? Goofy stuff. Goofy stuff. I don't know where they learn this from. Maybe they see their parents do it. They come from households where their parents do that shit. I've never had that in me or never thought, maybe because I never saw that when I was at a young age, that that's how you control a woman. You put her in a bear hug until she can't move no more. And then like everything go back to like normal. Or you put the pipe on her and she comes back to normal. Dick make everything right. Jesus Christ. This guy right here got fired in December. Good. And he should be decertified. This guy is not built to be a police officer. He's not. He has a young mind and he can't resolve simple conflict. So why would you give him a gun, a badge, and a taser and have him go out there in the world and fight the good fight when he can't make good judgment calls on his own? I'm just saying. Leave me a comment on this. Hit that thumbs up too. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. These emotionally broken men, they know they want to love, but they don't know how to love. A lot of them don't know how to resolve conflict. And that's one of the main reasons why it's problems out here with these domestic issues. Because if a man can't act instinctively, you know what I'm saying? He's doomed for his own destruction or that of somebody else's. And we're looking at the stories. Look at the stories I do. Men that can't resolve conflict within it, whether it's in themselves or out here in the world, it always turns bad for them and whoever's in the way of them. A lot of us out here, and I'm not saying me, are ticking time bombs and we're waiting to go off. That's messed up. People got to be careful out here. And nowadays, it don't have nothing to do with your sex. I should have specified that. People are buck wild. And it's very hard to separate the real from the fake. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and be careful.